thanks for reminding me. I started at Leicester in the Premier League, and I then signed for Norwich in the First Division, equivalent of the Championship. Left, went to Barnet in the Third Division, equivalent to League Two now, and then ended up, Millwall's my last club, only a couple of sub-appearances, but they was in the equivalent of League One. And you know, people say what a great achievement, but to start in the Premier League and end up in League One, in my eyes, is not a particularly good achievement.
See, I am Wonder Mike, and I like to say
To score after 34 seconds and go on and get a hat-trick and win 4-0, I think the only way was down after that for me, unfortunately. But no, it was a wonderful start to my Everton career, and you know, I didn't go on to achieve all what I would have liked at Everton, but it was a great way to start at the club. I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, but the problem I've got looking back is I went there to win trophies, and you know, that was one of the big regrets, to be at a club for 6 years. I mean, I scored 99 goals for the club. I was top scorer 5 out of 6 seasons, so it wasn't that I was a massive disappointment. It was just I didn't go on, and the club didn't win things, and you can pretty much sum it up as the right club at the wrong time, probably.
I got a Lincoln Continental, man.
Oh, loads. I mean, you know, just talking to Gary Parker at Leicester. You know, when we used to go, we played in Europe in my first season at Leicester, and Parks decided that he would come out with the luggage. As the luggage was on the conveyor belt, he decided to go in through the flaps and come back round, and as all the cases are coming out, he's laying down on the conveyor belt, which was absolutely hilarious. I suppose this was pre-9/11, so I suppose you probably ain't going to get away with it nowadays. I think a lot of it is probably down to the fact there's so much money involved now, because, you know, listen, if you're earning 50, 60 grand a week, if you're lucky enough to be earning that sort of money, you can't really go around on a conveyor belt and come out with the luggage, can you? I'm looking at the Man City squad now, and I honestly, genuinely believe they will challenge for a top 4 spot. I honestly believe that. I think they'll be in the shake-up. You need a bit of luck, obviously, like any club, but I think they'll be in the top 4. Oh dear. Too many to list, and I'm being honest with you there. You know, they're just the culture of football. In my early days at West Ham, we had a really good drinking school. When I went to Everton, just as good. The players that could drink, but more than often were the best players. So, you know, you needed to, you know, someone like Frank McAvenny, for example, at West Ham, loved to drink and loved going out and having a good time. But if you said to Frank you can't drink, you know, you would have lost him as a player. I mean, Paul Miller and Graham Roberts, I forgot to mention those two. I mean, there was a couple of hooligans at the back for Spurs, and they, you know, they certainly let you know you was about and give you a little elbow off the ball and things like that, you know. But I also look at someone like Stuart Pearce, who was a very, very tough player. He played left back, of course. So, I mean, I never went out to the right wing when we was playing against Forest. Just let Mark Wall get on with things like that. That's okay. I still keep in stride, 'cause all I'm here to... I was the record transfer 20 years ago, so the record transfer now would be, what, 35 million? I'm not saying I'd be worth 35 million, but that would be the equivalent. Would I be worth 35 million? No, I don't think so, but... You know, I think I would get transferred for money because I was a goal scorer. And if you look at the likes of Jermaine Defoe and Michael Owen, you know, you try and name too many goal scorers after that. They're a dying breed. It hurts me to say it. It really hurts me to say it, but goal scorers are a dying breed. You know, and I just don't know where the next Jermaine Defoe is going to come from. I think the wags have got to be, you know, stopped. I don't want to see the wags over there. I thought it was a complete nonsense last time. You know, I blame Sven for that, because the wags shouldn't have been anywhere near the World Cup. You know, you don't want wives and girlfriends putting the players off. You know, you see them when you get home. I do not want to see any of the wags out in South Africa. If we get to the final, fly them out and let them watch the final, great. But before that, keep them away. Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm a dreadful singer. I probably would go for something like Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang.
Really?
It's one of my songs from my youth that for some reason I managed to learn all the words, but I'm not going to sing a hip, hub, a hippie to the hip. I'm not going to sing that for you now.